Hello everyone, I'm Casby Bias, and you're listening to the Adulting Podcast. Are you a young professional or a recent college graduate? Having trouble figuring out how to handle adulthood in the quote-unquote real world? Well, look no further. Tune in as I interview guests who had went down the same journey. We'll be sharing our stories, support, and knowledge about how to do everything from finding a job to dealing with taxes. Today's episode focuses on going down career paths that are outside of your college major. Let's say that you have this degree that you spent years studying for, and at the end of your senior year in college, you realize, I don't think I want to go into this career field anymore. What do I do? Well, we're going to answer that question. Joining me in this conversation today is Shermaine Perry. She's a learning and development professional and works for a government entity here in Atlanta. Welcome to the show, Shermaine.
Hi, Casby. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
Excellent. So, Shermaine, what did you think you were going to be when you graduated from college? I know you got a political science degree from Spelman College, correct?
Yes, I had this dream. I was going to be a lawyer, lay down the law, help the people, fight for the little guy, and make sure that every family had what they needed. That's what I wanted to do when I finished college. In my mind, I had on the fast track going to law school, securing a third degree, a local court bench, and just kind of thriving from there, coasting. That was the dream. And things changed.
Yeah, could you tell me more about that? What made you want to go from wanting to be a lawyer to wanting to be in learning and development?
Every position that I held in college and post-college, I started to realize that I don't really want to go to law school. What I want to do is to create good policy, to teach people how to use this policy. And not just that, I want to be able to help workers understand what that means for them day to day. And so as I started to peel apart the onion, I realized everything goes back to training. I love that idea of being able to cultivate the next group of leaders. And so this is what slowly moved my position from political science to instructional design.
That's awesome. And I really like what you were saying before about peeling the onion. You moved on from focusing on a title to focusing on doing things or tasks that you really enjoyed and found a job or career from there. Back in 2016, I graduated from Syracuse University with a degree in television, radio, and film. I wanted to use that degree to become an animator for popular TV shows and movies. But from talking with professionals who were already in the animation field, it was recommended that I try life drawing classes. From trying that task out, I found that I did not like spending forever on one project. However, I did like creating characters that were less complex in design. I did like creating short clips that were easier to produce. Motion graphics, not animation.
Sounds like you peel back the onion.
Right, exactly. I wouldn't have found what tasks I actually liked doing if I didn't ask questions, if I didn't try out and explore activities that will be required of me in such a role. Now, it definitely took a while to admit my feelings to myself that I didn't want to become a traditional animator. I was in denial after graduating from college. I would think, oh, it's just fatigue right now from applying to all these jobs, but I still want this. I still want to be an animator. I need to go down this path. I spent years studying this area. I knew that once I decided I didn't want to go into animation, I couldn't go back. I had to deal with, okay, what's next? And I didn't know what was next. Animation was my life. I felt like I was having an identity crisis when I finally did admit to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. As far as your transition from political science to learning and development, Shermaine, what thoughts ran through your mind once you admitted to yourself that you no longer wanted to be a lawyer?
I thought, one, so glad I didn't pay for law school. A little bit of relief, right? Look at how much money I saved, right? And then I start to go through the emotions, like you're saying, of wondering, maybe that was the path for me. Maybe I am meant to be a lawyer. Did I talk myself out of this? Am I telling myself I'm not good enough? And you start to go through all these arbitrary thoughts, and then you realize, no, you're just choosing the path less taken. And you're saying to yourself, what else can I do with this thing? So I stayed in touch with all my friends who went to law school. I lived through them. They lived through me. We had great conversation around the polar but very different lives. What I found is I got to train and explore working with the public agencies and nonprofit agencies and working with academic institutions, and they were in law school and they took their first position as a lawyer in a firm and what those hours and the demand looked like. And we talked about the differences as we kind of appreciated the other's experience. And then I said to myself, it's okay. It is okay to feel emotional around not living your first dream or your second dream. And it's okay to see a greater value in the field as opposed to the job title. Do something different, right? Find a way to add value with your own spin on it. Because I truly believe had I gone with that dream, that I would not have been happy.
So for those who have decided, I don't want to go into a field anymore, but I have the degree already, what advice do you have for them, Shermaine? How should they move forward as far as looking for jobs?
I think sometimes we have to have enough courage to take a different path. And I'm not discouraging anyone from walking away from their very first dream, right? But we have to have the courage sometimes to say, you know what, there's another option for me. And you have to have enough grace for yourself. Tell yourself that it's okay to make a different decision, to explore multiple things, to reach out to individuals and say, hey, what does your work day look like? How does your standard day look? Walk me through a day in your life, in your position, right? Think about it. Many college students never have the opportunity to explore a career, but they're making a decision based off of what they think is right, not necessarily what they've played in, what they feel. And not every position is filled with passion, but you do want something that you enjoy.
Yeah. Those are great points of feedback. Don't be afraid to explore, and don't be afraid to reach out to people on LinkedIn.
Offering your service as well as receiving it. Perhaps it's nonprofit work, saying, hey, you want to work in this space? Do they have a project you can volunteer on? And you can build that experience with nonprofit work. Or even reach out to another friend and ask them if you can help them on a particular project. There are a lot of opportunities to build your knowledge and your skill in different areas.
Right. And you know how you look through job applications, and it's like you need 3 to 5 years of experience to get a job, but you also need a job to get experience? Focus on what things or tasks you really enjoy doing, volunteer in the community doing those things, and then put that on your resume. There's your experience.
Reach out to your mentors. That's why I say it's important to have a mentor, female and a male mentor, and ask them, hey, what did you do? What do you suggest that I do? How do I build this skill? Reach out to your professors. Reach out to your parents and those adults around you. Reach out and have informational interviews. I can't stress it enough. You are not bothering anyone. And I would just leave everybody with this. I don't want anyone to feel as though they finished with a degree in this particular area. They must work as this job because that's what they told everyone they would do. It is okay to change your mind. Be kind to yourself. It is okay to take time, and you do not have to have everything figured out by the time you're 21 or 25 or 30 or 35. Rome was not built in a day, and many of these industry giants that you see and everyone loves, it took them many years to build the empire. So it is okay if you do not have it all figured out at a very young age, if you haven't secured the money that you so desire, if you are not at the status and the position level that you want in your 20s and in your 30s, it is okay, because we are all just growing one day at a time. So be easy on yourself.
Exactly. All right, thank you, Shermaine. And thank you guys, as always, for listening. Until our next adulting episode, I'm Casby Bias. See you next time.